Have you ever stepped outside your front door, looked at your porch, and felt heavier? Not because of your body, but because of the space around you? You're not alone. Many seniors unknowingly carry a quiet weight, not in their arms, but in their environment. A cluttered porch can feel like a storage unit for forgotten projects, old memories, or just plain junk. But here's the surprising truth: research shows that after age 60, our brains become more reactive to physical clutter. What once felt like harmless mess now silently increases your stress hormones, worsens fatigue, and even affects sleep. And yet, right there in that same space, is the opportunity for healing. You don't need to move houses or build a garden from scratch. One small shift in how you see your porch can start something powerful. What if that dusty corner with broken chairs could become your morning breathing zone? What if a forgotten flower pot held the key to lower blood pressure, sharper focus, and a better mood? This isn't about having a picture-perfect porch. It's about reclaiming a space that reflects peace, purpose, and possibility. Does your porch feel peaceful or piled up? Let us know in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else to begin their own healing transformation. Wilma is 74 years old and lives just outside Lancaster, Pennsylvania. A retired elementary school teacher, she spent over 4 decades shaping young minds with patience, creativity, and care. But after retirement, life began to slow down, and so did her routines. Her husband passed a few years ago. Her children live out of state. And gradually, the once tidy porch she used to decorate each season became something else entirely. It started innocently. A bag of potting soil left out after spring planting. Then a broken flower pot she planned to glue. A pair of old sneakers, just for gardening. A folded walker her neighbor returned but she didn't know where to store. Before she realized it, the porch had turned into a holding zone, an in-between space where things lingered. Wilma didn't think much of it at first. "I'll sort it this weekend," she'd tell herself. But the weekend never came. And every time she passed by the clutter, something inside her sank. "It felt like my house was telling me I was falling behind," she said. "Like I was failing in slow motion." What she didn't realize was that this growing mess wasn't just an eyesore, it was affecting her physically. Wilma began noticing more frequent arthritis flare-ups in her knees and hands. Her sleep grew restless. She forgot small things, where she put her keys, whether she'd taken her vitamins. At first, she blamed it on age. But her doctor told her something that stuck: your environment affects your inflammation. That hit her hard. She started connecting the dots. The porch had become a visual reminder of unfinished tasks, of lost time, of grief. It drained her energy before she even stepped outside. Wilma wasn't lazy. She was overwhelmed. Like many older adults, she'd held on to things just in case, but what she really needed was to make space for healing. Her story isn't rare. Many porches become catch-alls, not sanctuaries. And when you're over 60, clutter doesn't just sit there, it speaks. It whispers that you're stuck, falling behind, or alone. But the good news? Wilma's story is just getting started. Because what she did next changed everything. As we age, our brains begin to respond differently to our surroundings. What once was background noise, or visual clutter, now has a louder impact. After 60, our nervous systems become more sensitive to environmental stress. That means even a small pile of forgotten items, a messy corner, or a porch filled with stuff can subtly elevate our cortisol levels, the hormone responsible for stress and inflammation. And over time, that low-grade stress adds up. Researchers have found that older adults exposed to disorder or visual chaos often experience increased fatigue, fogginess, and even joint stiffness. Why? Because the brain works harder to filter distractions, triggering a physical response in the body. For seniors dealing with arthritis, heart issues, or cognitive slowdown, this extra pressure can quietly worsen symptoms, even when we're not consciously aware of it. But here's the beautiful flip side: healing doesn't have to come from medicine or major life changes. In fact, it often starts with something as simple as how we design the space we sit in every day. Studies now show that just being near greenery, even looking at a small plant or garden through a window, can reduce daily stress markers in seniors by up to 24%. That's not wishful thinking, that's science. Natural light, tidy surroundings, and the presence of plants have been proven to improve memory, reduce joint inflammation, and boost emotional resilience in older adults. And unlike pills or procedures, this kind of healing has no side effects, only side benefits. When your environment feels calm, your body starts to mirror that peace. Your breath slows. Your joints move more easily. Your thoughts feel clearer. You feel more like yourself again. It's not about creating a magazine-worthy porch. It's about giving your brain and your body fewer obstacles and more comfort. You don't need acres of garden space. A few intentional touches on your porch, sunlight, greenery, clean lines, can change how you feel before you even step off the first step. Did you know nature could lower your blood pressure just by looking at it? Let us know your favorite plant or healing space in the comments below. When most people think of creating a healing space, they imagine a big backyard makeover, expensive landscaping, or a complete home renovation. But the truth is, the most powerful transformations often begin with the most overlooked spaces. And for many seniors, that space is the front porch. Your porch is more than just a pass-through, it's the bridge between your inner world and the outside. It's where the day begins and ends. Where mail is picked up, neighbors wave hello, and light first touches your face in the morning. Yet for many of us, that precious space becomes a collection point for odds and ends, an old broom, last season's plant pots, unused furniture, forgotten delivery boxes. It slowly loses its sense of purpose and starts feeling more like an eyesore than an invitation. But here's the powerful truth, your porch is already perfect, because it's yours. You don't need to build anything new or wait for the perfect conditions. It's flat, accessible, and right there, just steps away from where you sleep. No travel required. No stairs. No fancy garden beds or designer furniture. That visibility is what makes it so meaningful. Unlike a hidden corner of your home, your porch is a statement, something you see daily, and something the world sees too. And when you reclaim it, you're not just changing a space, you're shifting your mindset. For older adults especially, routine is everything. Having a space you can return to every morning, that welcomes you with intention and warmth, reinforces pride and daily rhythm. It becomes part of your health practice, like stretching, walking, or journaling. Except this one wraps you in natural light and quiet comfort. Think of your porch as a canvas. You don't need a big budget. You need a fresh perspective. A chair. A potted herb. A wind chime. A clean surface that says, this space belongs to me. Take a moment and look out at your porch. What's sitting there right now that doesn't belong? Is it serving you, or just taking up space? Let us know in the comments. You might inspire someone else to make that first change too. Step 1, the release ritual. There's a reason this is called a ritual, not just a task. Letting go of physical clutter after 60 isn't just about cleaning up. It's about clearing emotional space. And when you do it with intention, it becomes one of the most healing things you can do for your mind, your body, and your spirit. Here's how to start. Take a basket, any container will do. Label it, let go. This isn't a trash bin. It's a symbol. A space that says, I'm ready to release what no longer serves me. Now, walk out to your porch. Don't judge what you see. Just observe. Ask yourself gently, does this item give me energy, or drain it? Pick just 5 things. That's all. 5 forgotten or unnecessary items. Maybe it's a broken chair you meant to fix years ago. Or a stack of faded magazines you never read. Or a chipped plant pot that reminds you of something you'd rather forget. Place them into the let go basket. What happens next might surprise you. Many seniors don't expect how emotional this step can be. Some feel guilt, what if I need this later? Others feel grief, because objects often hold memories of people who are no longer here. Wilma, for example, stood staring at her late husband's rusted toolbox for over an hour. It had been sitting under the porch bench for 3 years. Covered in dust. Untouched. She wasn't using it. But it represented him. His presence. His hands. She cried when she finally lifted it. Not because she was throwing him away, but because she was ready to create something new in the space where grief had been quietly growing. She donated the tools to a neighbor's grandson who loved fixing bikes. And in the empty spot where the toolbox once sat, she planted a pot of lavender. "I don't smell oil and rust when I walk out anymore," she said. "I smell peace." That's the magic of the release ritual. You're not just tidying. You're making space for what you want your life to feel like now, not what it used to be. And the body feels that difference. Stress lowers. Breathing deepens. Your porch begins to feel like yours again. Practical tip. You don't have to finish everything today. Just start. 1 basket. 5 items. A small act of courage that leads to a massive emotional shift. What's the one item on your porch you've been holding onto that no longer serves you? Would you consider letting it go this week? Tell us in the comments. Step 2. Create a green zone. Now that you've made room by letting go, it's time to invite something in, something that doesn't just fill space, but heals it. Welcome to your green zone. This isn't about planting an entire garden. This is about choosing a few simple, intentional plants that turn your porch into a sanctuary of calm, scent, and life. You only need 3 to get started. That's it. And the best part. These plants don't just look pretty, they work for you. Start with lavender. Known for its calming scent, lavender can ease anxiety, improve sleep quality, and even reduce joint inflammation through passive aromatherapy. A light breeze across a lavender pot is like a sigh of relief for your nervous system. Next, consider rosemary. It's not just for cooking. The scent of rosemary has been shown to improve memory, something especially important after 60, when cognitive sharpness begins to matter more than ever. Plus, it's resilient and easy to maintain in a pot. And finally, mint. This cheerful, fast-growing herb does more than freshen breath. It's a natural mosquito repellent, has cooling properties, and brings a light, invigorating energy to any space. What makes these 3 so special? They're anti-inflammatory, low maintenance, and they engage multiple senses: sight, smell, even touch. That's important for seniors, because sensory input often becomes more limited with age. These plants gently stimulate your nervous system and bring subtle vitality back into your day. But here's where it gets personal. Don't just plop them into store-bought pots. Give your green zone character. Use that chipped teacup from your mother's set. That old tin from the 1970s. A mug with a crack that tells a story. When your planters have history, they don't just hold plants, they hold meaning. Wilma used 3 mismatched coffee mugs from her teaching days. One had a faded apple on it. One said, #OneTeacher. The third was a gift from her daughter. Every time I water them, she said, I remember who I've been and who I'm still becoming. If you're worried about drainage, just add a few pebbles to the bottom of each cup before you plant. And if you don't have a green thumb, that's okay. These herbs are famously forgiving. What's your favorite healing scent, lavender or rosemary? Or maybe something else entirely? Share it below, you might give someone else their next porch idea. Step 3. Add a memory nook. Now that your porch has space, and a touch of green, it's time to create something truly sacred, a corner that doesn't just look nice, but feels like home. Not the house you live in, but the part of you that deserves to be remembered, honored, and felt every single day. We call it a memory nook, a small space for stillness, comfort, and connection to the people, places, and pieces of yourself that matter most. All it takes is one small chair. Not a new one. Maybe it's the wooden rocker from your kitchen, or the folding chair you always meant to repaint. Add a soft throw blanket, something cozy, something that invites you to sit, not just pass by. And then the heart of it all, a memory object. It could be a framed photo, a handwritten letter, an old book, or a printed quote that brings peace when you read it. For Wilma, it was a note from her daughter. The paper was yellowed and wrinkled. The handwriting a little uneven. Her daughter had written it before she passed away unexpectedly 10 years ago. Wilma had kept it in a drawer all that time. But now, in her new porch sanctuary, she placed it in a simple wooden frame, right beside her favorite fern. Every morning, she sits with her tea and reads those same words. "Mom, you make everything feel safe." That moment is now part of her daily ritual, not something heavy with grief, but something light with presence. You see, we often forget that aging isn't just about health. It's about identity. About remembering the parts of yourself that feel lost in the shuffle of years, change, and loss. A memory nook gently calls those parts back. It grounds you. It says, you are still here. You still matter. Your story isn't over. Don't underestimate how powerful this corner can become. Some days, it's where you pause and smile. Other days, it's where you cry and release. But every day, it becomes a place of truth. Of anchoring. Of healing. Avoid over-decorating. Keep it simple. One chair. One object. One touch of softness. Too many things distract from the emotional purpose of the space. If you could frame one memory on your porch, what would it be? A photo? A quote? A recipe card in someone's handwriting? Tell us in the comments. You never know whose heart your story might touch. Step 4, the Daily Touchpoint. You've created space. You've added life. You've anchored it in memory. Now, it's time to breathe with it every single day. This final step isn't about doing more. It's about being present with what you've already created. We call it your daily touchpoint, a quiet, intentional moment on your porch that connects your body, mind, and spirit to something deeper than routine. And it can be simple. For some, it's a warm cup of coffee in the morning light. For others, it's 5 minutes of prayer, gratitude, or journaling. Maybe it's just sitting in silence, letting the breeze touch your skin, the leaves rustle around you, or the birds remind you that you're part of something ongoing. Don't underestimate what 5 minutes can do. Especially after 60. Here's the science: repeated, gentle exposure to nature, even just sitting near greenery or looking at a natural element like a tree or herb plant, has been shown to recalibrate the nervous system. That's not just relaxation. That's your body literally rebalancing. One recent study revealed that seniors who spent just 5 to 10 minutes per day outdoors, or near plants, experienced noticeable improvements in balance, blood pressure, and mental clarity within 2 weeks. Why? Because nature resets us. It reminds the body to breathe slower, move with intention, and quiet the stress signals that often go unnoticed. Even your vestibular system, the part of your brain responsible for balance and spatial awareness, benefits. Seniors who routinely spend time in calming natural environments experience fewer falls, steadier walking patterns, and stronger posture. It's not about going on a hike. It's about consistency. Wilma started with just 5 minutes each morning. No phone. No plans. Just her porch chair, her lavender plant, and her daughter's note. Within a month, she noticed her morning stiffness had eased. She felt more centered. More grounded. She told us, "It's the first time in years I didn't wake up dreading the day." Your daily touchpoint doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be yours. Set a gentle alarm labeled a porch time, or place your favorite mug near your keys, whatever reminds you to go outside before the day pulls you in. What's one ritual you could begin on your porch, just 5 minutes a day? Share your ideas in the comments. Your simple habit could inspire someone else to find peace right where they are. It didn't happen overnight. But it happened, quietly, and beautifully. Wilma's porch, once the cluttered graveyard of forgotten things, has become her favorite place on earth. Where there were broken planters, now there's a mint bush that dances in the breeze. Where dusty boxes once sat, now there's a single wooden chair with a soft floral cushion. And in the corner, beside her lavender and rosemary, sits the framed note from her daughter, the one she now reads aloud every morning like a prayer. Wilma's mornings have changed. She wakes up with purpose, not rushing, not checking her phone, not overwhelmed. She wraps herself in a shawl, pours a small cup of black coffee, and steps outside to her sanctuary. Some days she simply sits. Other days, she journals. Often, she just breathes and listens to the sounds of birds starting their day. But the transformation didn't stop with her. One day, her neighbor Ruth stopped by. "I saw your porch from the street," she said. "It just looked peaceful. Mind if I sit for a bit?" Soon, Wilma's porch became a quiet gathering spot, not noisy or busy, just sacred. Her neighbors dropped by not to gossip, but to breathe. It's like her space gave them permission to slow down too. And the best part? Wilma feels proud again. Not because it's Pinterest perfect, but because it reflects who she is now, a woman who made peace with the past, made room for the present, and built something meaningful from what she already had. "I used to feel like the porch was reminding me of everything I hadn't done," she said. "Now, it reminds me of how far I've come." Her transformation wasn't about the plants or the paint or the throw blanket. It was about intention. About deciding she deserved a space that nourished her, daily. And that same transformation is possible for you, too. All it takes is one step. One chair. One plant. One moment. And then, everything begins to change. You don't need a green thumb. You don't need a sprawling backyard, fancy tools, or a home makeover budget. All you need is a few feet of porch, and the belief that you deserve a space that brings you peace. It's easy to overlook what's right in front of you, especially when life has been loud, messy, or heavy. But healing doesn't always require a grand change. Sometimes, it begins with clearing one small corner, placing one pot of rosemary, sitting still in one quiet chair. Your porch is more than a pass-through. It's a doorway into how you want to feel each day. Peaceful. Present. Proud. Maybe you've been putting it off. Maybe you've told yourself you're too old to start something new. But you're not. This isn't about gardening. This is about reclaiming your space, and, in many ways, your sense of self. Start small. But start today. Because your healing space isn't out there waiting to be found. It's right outside your door, just waiting to be made. If this story touched you, if it sparked an idea or gave you hope, hit that like button to support the message. Share it with a friend over 60 who deserves a peaceful spot of their own. And don't forget to subscribe to Wise Aging Seniors, because we're just getting started, and the best is yet to grow.